Hi, everybody. It's me, Erica, the founder of New Hampshire Womenfolk. And tonight we are going to do a live interview with one of our womenfolk performers, Andrea Paquin. She is, she has got one of the most beautiful voices that I have had the pleasure to sing with and that I've ever heard. And um, let's see. I keep checking to see if she's on so that we can invite her in and we can get to know her a little bit better. Our last interview was with Callie McKenzie, and it was so much fun once we finally figured out how to make it work. I see Andrea there, and here she comes. So please welcome Andrea Paquin.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
I can hear you, but I cannot. There you are. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Well, thanks for joining us here at New Hampshire Women Folk Facebook Live. We're excited that you joined the series of Getting to Know You. Andrea will be performing on the main stage at New Hampshire Women Folk Music Experience, September 16th, 2023. So, how have you been? We had an incredible day on Sunday. That's all kind of settled in to our bones, and I'm glad that you joined us. We just want to get to know you. We want to know how you became a musician. What was your calling? What's the path that led you to where you are today?
Well, to go way back when in junior high school, I've always wanted to play. I always wanted to play guitar since I was little, and I did a lot of things like sports and art and stuff like that. And I wanted to play guitar. My mom was like, "You're doing too many things. You're not going to do that too." But I begged her because I knew I could do it. So finally, like in eighth grade into freshman year, I begged for a guitar, and they finally got one for me. And I had a friend come over and teach me "Helpless" by Neil Young, and it's just AGD, the whole thing. And he taught me the whole song. And from that one lesson, I had this old guitar book that my parents somehow acquired, and I taught myself everything else. I never had any lessons. I've never had any kind of music theory training or anything. So I'm all by ear and self-taught since freshman year.
Wow.
And I was so determined that I uh, played every day after school for like 3 or 4 hours until my fingers bled, actually. And I was out playing little cafes in about 3 months.
Wow. Wow. So young too. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I,
Well,
it was innate.
so what 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 was it that made you want to learn guitar so badly? Was there a musician in the family? Was it just
No, it was just like innate, and like it's like an innate thing. I knew that I could play it. And I remember being about 7 years old, and there was this little store in Manchester, and it had everything in it. And there was this guitar hanging up, and a random electric guitar in this weird junky store. And I walked by it, and I looked at it, and I put my fingers on the strings, and I said to my mom and dad, who are right there, I said, "I know how to play this," and they were like, "Yeah." And I knew how to play it. It was such a weird thing that I had this major connection, and ever since that time, I every year I asked for a guitar. And they didn't believe me, and so I didn't get one until freshman year. And then they were like, "Oh boy, maybe we should have got you in it sooner."
they believe you now? Wow, I love that story. That blows my mind. I love when divine things happen like that. So that's pretty cool. So okay, so within 3 months, you're playing clubs. You're a
Oh,
freshman in high school. You're
little
14 and 15.
cafes.
So okay, and then what? And then I mean, I think I know little bits about you, but I really am very uneducated in the life of Andrea Paquin. So I know that you were in bands in high school. I know, I think I know that you played bass for a band, like a national act, and toured with them. Um, and I know that you've done solo before and then kind of went back to like the corporate world and are like finding your way back in. So what's the missing pieces? Is any of that true? Am I making up this story?
True. So I actually, in eighth grade, my eighth grade teacher brought her guitar in, and that was my final confirmation. And that was when I really had to do it. You know, I saw her playing, and I was like, this is it. This is what I have to do. I know I have to do it. I know I can feel it. I can play it. I just knew I had it. And that's when the acoustic thing started. And then my freshman year in high school, my biology teacher, I actually played, he was in charge of student council, and his name was Peter Pappas, and he's my bio teacher. So he arranged for a lot of the music to happen during the pep rallies and the assemblies. So I played my very first gig in front of like 500 students, and I played
I would shit my pants.
played, played Nirvana's "About a Girl." That was their song called "About a Girl," and that was my very first gig on the stage at Central High School in the auditorium in front of 500 kids, half the school, and I was hooked. Like I was hooked. That was it. Like that's what I knew what I had to do. And Peter was over there on the sidelines, and he was happy I did it, and it was great. And then he introduced me to his son, who was also a musician, and he had a best friend who he played guitar with as well. So with Tim and Chris, Christopher is Peter's son, and Tim was his best friend. So we had a trio. It was all three of us on guitars with Christopher singing lead and me singing harmonies, and so that went on for about a year, and then there was an opportunity for us to play a battle of the bands at Pinkerton Academy in Derry, New Hampshire. So we needed a drummer, and Tim was like, "Hey, I got a drummer in my science class. I'm going to ask him if he wants to play." So his name was Joe Siders, and who is now humongous out in California. He's the drummer for the New Pornographers. He's doing well. So we were in. So that's when our first name of the band, Pawn Unction, came about, and we were a foursome for a very long time. And then we met up with another person in the college times when we met this kid named Kyle Fredrickson. And Kyle Fredrickson is like a savant. He's just amazing. And so is Joe. I mean, they're all so talented. So we were together for almost around 10 years. And then I broke away and I started doing my solo stuff. They're all out in California now, and they're Christopher's writing and selling music. Tim's not playing anymore, but Kyle is probably producing, engineering, whatever he's doing. And Joe Siders is off touring, 8 months out of the year. So, and I still talk to them once in a while, you know what I mean? And we still keep in touch. And
Awesome.
yeah, so I did the solo thing for a while, and then had my son, kind of slowed down. I didn't do much after that, and now I'm doing what I'm meant to do, and now I'm doing it at an almost full-time basis, and that's my goal going forward is to do this full time.
Amazing. When you take breaks like that, it's just it's like a confirmation to remind you that it's kind of what makes you tick. For me personally, when I don't have music in my life, I suffer. And then those who live around me, near me, or work with me also suffer. So I'm glad that you have dove back in, especially because I get to be a listener and enjoy it. I love your story. It's blowing my mind. I love that you knew. Because I feel like a lot of musicians have that feeling very young and they just know it's not something that you can force. And I think it was you and I that were talking the other day about not everyone can do what you do, Andrea. It is a gift. And when to accept that you have a gift, then it's much easier to give it. And we are blessed that you give us your gift.
Oh,
And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about juggling all of this. You're still working. You are a mom. you're going through some changes with that where it's a little different. You're doing gigs. You live in Connecticut. You travel all over New England for these gigs. Like, how is that? What is it if I were looking in on your life for a day and you were planning out your week with work, mom duties, making dinner, laundry, and oh, I've got 3 gigs. Like how does Andrea Paquin handle that? How does that work out for you? How do you find the balance to make it all work?
Well, like when you do something you love, it's easy, right? So my job right now, I'm on a leave because I had surgery back in December, so I'm on leave still from the surgery. Um, so I'm not back to work yet at the full-time status. I'm playing music, so I haven't experienced working and doing the gigs on the weekends just yet. But I'm hoping to, find something different. I'm hoping to not return. I'm hoping to be able to maintain this as a full-time status, so I can just focus. I spent all day today recording in my little studio, so I recorded 2 songs today, and that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? I can work on my songs, I can work on my structures, I can work on all that kind of stuff. Now that I have the recording equipment I need, I can do that. But Noel's other mom and I are separated, so that's a little tricky, but it's working out okay. We're getting along, and Noel seems we're getting along good. So she's very helpful when it comes to extra, like lending an extra hand, and vice versa. So having him half the week is helpful, and for her to have him half the week is helpful. So I'm able to get some music stuff done and prepped before the weekends are coming.
So
And
a good support system is in place. I mean, I
yeah,
don't think any of us can do this without a good support system, whether it be friends, wives, family, moms, grandmas, whatever.
yeah,
I think that's the key to a
and,
balance, being a musician.
yeah, because you honestly, especially with a kid, it's not going to happen. So I mean, my parents are very supportive. Her parents are very supportive. So, he comes with me every other weekend, and a lot of times he comes to the shows.
Nice.
Yeah,
And what does he think about that? What does he think about his mom rocking out on stage and
he
playing for people?
he's always asked me if I'm famous.
My nieces asked me if I was famous, and I said, yes, yes, I am.
He's like, "Mom, so are you like famous?" And I was like, "Not yet."
I love that. Um, I want to talk about, of course, New Hampshire Women Folk. That's coming up. We're so excited that I brought this up to a lot of musicians, and then it's up to them to apply. And because I can't, it's not up to me who plays. We have a board of directors that listens to everyone. And when I mentioned it to you, we were still in the middle of just kind of getting this going. It was still kind of a shit show. And you were in 100%, and you filled out the application, and I was so excited to share your music with everyone on the board, and here you are. So so we have this little group called the New Hampshire Women Folk Singers, and it consists of some of the performers from the festival, and we had our first promo day at a wonderful studio in Framingham, Massachusetts, called Red 13 Studios, and I want to talk about that experience, um, because for me personally, I have not had a lot of good examples of what a relationship with another woman should look like, or can look like. There's no should, but what it can be, and how harmonious it can be. So for me, Sunday, when the 4 of us got together and played, we were 4 very different singers. I want to put that out there to everyone. Very different genres, very different walks of lives, and when you hear us separately, there's no way you would think those women need to sing together.
Right.
So I would like to hear your takeaway, because as I was driving home, you called me, and to me, that phone call was success. That it wasn't about a crowd or a beautiful video, but a call like the call that you gave me meant we're on the right track. We're succeeding. This is special and something's different. So if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about your experience as we keep moving forward in this crazy thing that's taken on its own life, I would love to have you share that with everyone.
I think when people see the videos, it's cool, right? They see those cool videos and they came out wonderful. But there's no way to explain the experience being there. Like when everybody had their turn, everybody was pretty much mesmerized with each person's performance, and it was really intriguing. And when we first got together at your house and we kind of half-assedly learned a song and whatever we did, it was like, oh, okay, we all can sing and it's pretty good, because we didn't really know each other at that point, right? So, well, no, we can all sing, we're all fine, we're good to go, let's head in the studio. And then our second time around we sing that one song together and it came out awesome. I think that for me, I felt that like I actually saw everybody's potential that day.
Right.
Felt like everybody's potential was like magnified, and yeah, it's pretty amazing. And there was just a connection, there was just connections made that I didn't expect, honestly. And I think that we're just so different, and that's the coolest piece,
Right.
is that we're so, and there's no like you said, there's no one person better than the other. Everybody holds their own in their own genre.
That's right.
Yeah.
I felt very encouraged and very inspired, and
Fired.
even as people were like, oh, maybe try this. It wasn't about ego. It was purely in love and wanting each other to be the best that we could be. And I just felt so full. Like I left that studio feeling like this is what New Hampshire Women Folk is about. This is what we're trying to create um, for for female artists. And in a nutshell, in what we were there 4 hours, 5 hours, um, we all left feeling the way that we hope to create the festival to be for the performers that show up, for the audience members that get to experience it. I have to say, the gentleman at the studio, I'm still getting messages from them about the experience that they had watching us. Um, they were overjoyed to see women work that way together, and then to have everyone be so good. It was, they didn't know what they were getting into, and here they loved every single performance. And to me, that just speaks volume about the women that have been pulled in into this like New Hampshire women folk vortex. It speaks volumes about who you are and who Nicole D'Amico is, and Liz Bigar, and little Faith Ann, who just um, shined that day. She didn't know what she was walking into. She walked away with four new moms. It was just beautiful. I'm so grateful that you are a part of this. I'm so grateful that you're already feeling um, the effects of what we're trying to create, and I'm so excited that you get to be an example for young women and have a stage to show them what they can do. So when that 8-year-old walks by a guitar, she can say, well, geez, I saw Andrea do that, and I can do it too.
Yeah.
So I
Cool.
really am excited for you to be a part of
Oh,
it.
I am so blessed to be part of it. I'm just so thankful that I'm in. It was such a freaking awesome way to everything. There's so many divine appointments around this whole thing.
I
You know what I mean?
agree.
Divine appointments. Like for this to happen and for it to keep happening. And I just wanted to make a statement about being in the studio, where sometimes like people make suggestions, or like I said to Nicole, I had said, are you strumming or picking at this point or this part, and then she's like, oh, I'm just going to do a little bit of this here and there, you know what I mean? And there wasn't any like, it was just, and if people aren't in agreement, it's kind of like, all right, well, whatever, we'll just do something different. There's no like, there was no arguing, there was no like, we really have to do it this way, this is really the way it has to go, you know what I mean?
No,
And we were playful, we were sarcastic with each other, we were playful, we were like having a good time together, and there was no weirdness, and to not know any of you guys more than just meeting, that's pretty cool to be able to get along with somebody like that when you don't even know them.
right.
And all four.
Well, and it's a fine example of what it can be, what women can be for each other in a relationship, and in any kind of relationship, work related, music related, friendships, love life. I have never felt more empowered by a group of women than I did Sunday, and I know that that is just going to. I feel it already.
Oh,
It's expanding. Just sharing the video, and all of the private messages that have been sent. You say that we can't explain what we were feeling that day, but I think people are totally getting what we were feeling that day. And it's just they want to be part of it. And that's so exciting to change the narrative of how we treat each other as women, let alone human beings, period. But let's start with each other, you know?
yeah,
It's just so exciting.
it is really exciting. Yeah, it's just awesome. I haven't had this much excitement over something musically in a long time.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear you say that. Um, Thank you for joining us for our little getting to know you performance live chats here on Facebook. I just want to remind everyone that the event is September 16th, 2023 in Thornton, New Hampshire at the Sugar Shack Campground. Please go to the website, nhwomenfolk.com. If you want to donate or sponsor us or even vend your wares and crafts, please, everything is on the website that you need to know. There's also Andrea's bio, and you can click on and find all of the music that she has out there, and there is a lot, so please go listen to it. Like us on Facebook, share all of our posts. We need all the help we can get, and a like and a share go a long way. Um, have a great Thursday night, everybody. Thank you so much, Andrea. I really appreciate you doing this with us, and we'll see everybody soon. Thank you.